any technologist or any IT architect or any solution designer who is designing some kind of technology, he should always look who is going to be my consumer.
What is the most misunderstood thing about digital transformation in hospitals?
See, there are 3 stages in not only in hospital but any enterprise: paper driven, paper smart, paper light, and then the paperless.
How did you navigate large-scale EMS, HMIS transformations and still get the doctors and nurses to adopt to them?
Substantiate this. Rather than you speaking, let the data speak. If you want to change the billing system of a hospital, which is revenue related, it's a good idea to go to a person who is making the final bill on computer. Sit, take a stool, take a chair at the back and just observe it.
So today I have with me Unmesh Deshpande ji. He is head of IT and cybersecurity at Wockhardt Hospitals Limited, also technology advisor at Timus Solutions. He spent over 3 decades in the healthcare tech, and he's led EMR transformations, hybrid cloud migrations, and cybersecurity. So let's understand from Unmesh ji what all these things mean and his journey. Unmesh ji, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Piyush. And I really appreciate the creation of such dialogue platform reaching out to masses. Well, this journey has been very interesting. Started off with entry-level computers without hard drives, till today AI-based cloud engineering and rest of the things. In HealthTech particularly, I have led a CTO's position at a local hospital in Nagpur, which was Kingsway, later on taken by KIMS. So there was a 100% greenfield, where I had a blank canvas to paint it with my vision, my ideas, and my liking. But then all these my's were aligned to organizational aspirations, budgets, and the security required. Keeping in mind what are the healthcare processes, how the clinical processes happen in a tertiary and super specialty kind of hospital. So all these ingredients were presented in front of me, and I had to put them in right proportion to make that dish taste very nice and appealing to people. So a lot of learning was there, how to mix, how to adjust to people, because I come from a background of predominantly data centers and security and things like that, and health tech is a totally different ballgame altogether. So
yeah, that was my question actually. Why health tech? What made you realize, yes, this is my space?
Yeah. So if I do my introspection as an individual or as a person or a human being, I feel that I'm very emotional.
Okay.
When you deliver a technology for let's say a large software unit having global branches and all those things, and deliver a technology to them, it's all practical and mechanism over there, right? But when you talk about automating a hospital, doing a digital transformation, the entire focus changes from a software delivery to smiling patient.
Yeah.
A patient
absolutely
gets discharged from a hospital, and he gets all the attention and everything which is system assisted or system prompted. Of course, human beings are the final ones who are going to take actions, but they are supported by a good amount of data, analytics, and clinical decision support system. So, as a role of an IT architect or a CIO, CTO, or a digital transformation expert, it is our onus to deliver meaningful technology. It may not be the cutting edge and whatever. It may not be very expensive and complex. To my experience of 30 years, what I feel is anything which is appropriate and affordable will always sustain and give you meaningful outcomes.
Okay.
Finally, each one of us are working for meaningful outcomes, right?
Nice. So, Unmesh ji, एक बड़ा interesting सवाल है. How do you explain someone outside the tech world about what you do? For example, family and friends में जब बात होती है, तो फिर आप कैसे explain करते हो कि आप actually करते क्या हो?
It has different perspectives. I mean, when I have to describe the same thing to my wife, it's a different way. Because I need to go and do this because there are so many patients over there whose work is held. And if you are kept in a queue for 6 hours for discharging patient, the most critical point in patient history is discharge. When the doctor comes to bed and tells patient, "Boss, आज 12 बजे आपका discharge है." So and 12:30 उसके लिए उसके relatives गाड़ी में आए रहते नीचे with the payment and bill cleared. But if the discharge process is taking long, then there is a lot of disappointment and dissatisfaction. So I tell my family, I am responsible and accountable to minimize this time. I cannot make it zero. And that minimization of time is the cost that you are paying for me not being with you during that time.
Okay, wow, that's a very nice way to explain it. Moving on, hospitals are known for resistance to change, right? Because बहुत हाई प्रेशर इन्वायरमेंट होता है
Correct?
और कोई भी नया चेंज लाना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज पेशेंट्स का उनका डेली ऑपरेशंस जो है हॉस्पिटल्स का वो डिसरप्ट नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट, विद अ न्यू चेंज, राइट. सो हाउ डिड यू नेविगेट लार्ज स्केल EMS HMIS ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन still and still get the doctors and nurses to adopt to them?
See, Piyush, this was a very, I mean, precariously balanced decision that I had to take in earlier hospital, and now probably I've just started my engagement with Wockhardt about a month back, but I'm sure that I'll have to face the same scenario everywhere. Change is the thing which is constant, which is globally said, but very less respected. You have to respect change. If you don't respect change, then people will change you. So it's your onus and responsibility and decision whether you are going to be there or your changed person is going to be there, right? So how do I explain the clinicians, doctors, and the hospital admin, accounts, finance people of changing something? So substantiate this, rather than you speaking, let the data speak. If you want to change the billing system of a hospital, which is revenue related, it's a good idea to go to a person who is making the final bill on computer, sit, take a stool, take a chair at the back and just observe him. Just count the number of clicks that he has to do on the software to make that bill. Just count the number of keystrokes that he has to enter manually. What could be his pain area? Doing typing so much of information into the bill, clicking so many menus. What if that can be optimized and brought to 50% of the input? He will adopt.
That would be like a time saver for the guy, right?
Time saver, and possibly if he doesn't want to do more billing than before, he will have some spare time to chat with his colleagues.
Absolutely. He'll get some breathing space also, right?
Breathing space, resting space, he will get all these things. So how do you bring a person who is doing a job repeatedly, monotonously for months or years, and how do you move them into a different zone and show them that this is a better comfort zone, so that reluctance for that travel is minimal, and then you can put in your idea. But then you need to do your homework. If you as an IT architect or digital transformation expert haven't done that and merely forcing people to use a new software, that's not going to work. Same thing happens with doctor. Can doctor be freed of typing something on keyboard? Can a mic with a language processing tool do that job? All these new tech and new features are available. So all these things, they bring in a real mind change. If the mind change and mind shift happens at the user level, change in technology and scale up is simple. It's not a rocket science there.
Yeah, so it's basically like, technology becomes part of your life day to day, and it does not become like a hindrance, like something that you don't like doing and you have to still do it because it's part of your job, right?
Right.
That's amazing. And Unmesh, what is the most misunderstood thing about digital transformation in hospitals?
Oh, I mean, if you go to a, let's say, 25-30,000 feet view of the digital transformed hospital, people will say, यार कुछ फायदा नहीं हुआ. I still have to do some work on computer.
Yeah, because people say like, अरे और ज़्यादा काम करना पड़ रहा है.
Right, because when you say, see, there are three stages in not only in hospital but any enterprise: paper driven, paper smart, paper light, and then the paperless.
Okay, one more time. Table driven,
Paper driven.
paper driven,
So all registers, forms,
register.
signs,
Yeah,
paper driven. Then paper smart. Some of the, instead of having two attendants and leave, one register for attendance and one register for leave, you have the same double page register with all these columns.
Yeah.
So it becomes a paper smart. You put all these things into a simple Foxpro or any UI based system, that becomes paper light, because then you don't need the register, right? But still people have to log in and feed the information. And if HR is going to do this leave attendance and everything management, HR will require a form signed by manager that, okay, I am allowing Unmesh to take a leave for 3 days and consider this as a paid time off, right? So that letter is there. So the organization is still paper light now. If you want to transform to paperless, I will apply on the portal with a biometric, and my manager approves with a biometric and trigger goes to HR and automatically into the system.
Okay, so everything handled by the system, no paper involved.
Everything. There will be a well-tailored and trained AI system which will take decisions. It will run into my calendars and meetings and see what meetings I have post my vacation. It will scan my workstation whether I have done all the presentations or whatever data is required, or do I have a bandwidth after coming back from vacation. I can do my work and be ready for those meetings and presentations.
Nice.
So workload analysis compared with the necessity of leave, type of reason, everything all put together, it will form a decision whether to grant a leave or not. And that decision will be put on the HR's dashboard for a human to approve it.
So only the approval part is where you have the intervention. Rest is like taken care of by the system.
Yes.
That is paperless.
That is paperless.
Okay.
For example, in context to hospital, there is a patient admitted and pathology test has to be done. The nurse comes with a syringe, draws blood or whatever sample is to be taken. The sample is taken, put it on a sample bottle and sent to the lab with a barcode label. The analyzer analyzes the sample. The machine talks to a computer which has a HMI system, hospital management information system, lab module, populates all the things, everything is ready. Then the pathologist really sees whether results are correct and process has been done properly, digitally signed and WhatsApp on patient's mobile.
Wow.
No paper. This we have done in Kingsway.
Very nice. Wow. This is real, yeah?
This is real. We have done it.
Great.
So let's say 3 months down the line, the patient goes to XYZ other hospital. He has those reports on his phone.
Yeah, he doesn't have to carry those files and look for "Arey wo mera report kahan gaya" and all that stuff.
So even let's say CT, MRI, your ultrasound, or if you have done a anything related to your cardiology, 3D echo, 2D echo, or maybe your cath lab process, angiography, angioplasty, all these are actually digital information, right? If these are served on a patient mobile application, wherever the patient goes, at a click of a button, the other doctor will be able to see the previous record in history. So that will lessen the decision making of further treatment in case of any SOS kind of a situation.
Nice. That's really important, and actually that's also a good thing about when you are in a SOS situation, because that time समझ में नहीं आता है, मतलब you are like totally stuck in that situation and you don't remember कहाँ मैंने अपने reports रखे थे और कहाँ मेरा medical history मेरी कहाँ पे होगी.
नहीं तो वो patient कभी बोल ही नहीं सकता because
नहीं बोल सकता.
So his brother, भाभी भैया की फाइल कहाँ है? हाँ. And that is the biggest and most dangerous question in those golden hour. Yeah.
And family sometimes doesn't know कि आपने फाइल कहाँ रखी होगी, क्या होगा.
Correct. Wow. And they don't even know कि वो पीले रंग की फाइल, it's a blue file or what kind of a file, they don't know the appearance also. So if they want to search for it, how will they?
Nice.
So in paperless is absolutely important. So it is the environment, save paper.
And probably paperless would be the way to go forward, right?
Yes. So Government of India is really on a absolutely high-speed horse to really drive this. You would have heard a term called ABDM, Ayushman
Okay.
Bharat Digital Mission.
Okay.
So it's a nationwide rollout of standardization of healthcare system across government and private hospitals. So these days, whenever you deploy any software system for a hospital, it is necessary as of now and will become mandatory in a year's time to be ABDM compliant.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah. And government is planning to roll a platform called HIE, Healthcare Information Exchange. And everybody has, even you have an ID which you probably may not be aware. It's called ABHA ID, Ayushman Bharat Health Advisory ID. Every person who has an Aadhaar card has that ID.
Okay.
So you go to XYZ hospital which is connected on HIE and say my ABHA ID is this. You will enter the ABHA ID and entire clinical information will be there. Whether you have done your previous medical thing in Nagpur and you've gone to Shillong, your data will travel with you, irrespective whether you have done at a private hospital in Nagpur and going to government hospital in Shillong. Doesn't matter.
So, but this is like more compliance for hospitals, right? So, how do you balance innovation with compliance? Because ये तो इतना सारा information हर patient के लिए वो online portal में upload करना, फिर वो online portal पता नहीं up होगा नहीं होगा, बाद में disconnect हो गया, things may crop
See,
up, right?
That's a very good question. And to be honest and frank, it is partially answered as of now by technology because it's a Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, CDAC, and private consultants like us. There is a think tank group. So government initiative, their technology led flagship company called CDAC, and we as a practitioner on open market. So what we are doing is we are pulling in our good and bad experiences in different buckets and consolidating everything to form a best golden solution. As far as data availability, security, and connectivity is concerned, nobody in the world can say that I can give 100% uptime guarantee.
Yeah, that is true. And उन्मेश जी जैसे हमने भी बात किया कि ABDM है वहाँ पे सारा कुछ ये innovation and compliance are getting together. But what about privacy? Because these records, this information that has been transferred over the digital mediums are very sensitive information related to my life and my healthcare, right? So if this gets leaked, somebody could misuse this information, right?
So there is a Privacy Data Protection Act now in force. Maybe about a year back that GRO got approved and voted. So if I am a hospital and I have patients registered with me, I have their entire personal demographics, bank information and other information like this, plus their clinical findings, pathology test reports and everything. I have the entire history and geography of that patient, right?
Yeah.
If that information is breached by anyone and there is a privacy loss, the PDPA Act entitles a penalty of 250 crore.
Okay, so can you define the breach here? Like, what do you mean by breach?
So breach is when my information is stored on a database of a hospital, right?
Yeah.
They have to share or they can share my information to internal business requirement, billing or maybe nursing department or administration or departments like this who treat that patient. So they can share this information internally over there. But somebody hacks into the network through firewall or whatever and takes that information out, then that hospital is responsible.
And as a patient, how do I ensure that my sensitive information is not being given out outside the hospital without my consent?
That assurance is given by the PDPA Act to the patient, right? And recently they have upgraded some qualifying criteria for NABH, National Accreditation of Hospitals. So NABH is required for each and every hospital, mandatory kind of stuff. So they have really rewritten their IT compliances. So in which there are strict controls and measure of data management and medical record division. So there's a lot of governance coming in on hospital system, but it is for their good. They can internally use patient information for any clinical studies, research, everything. And when they publish the report, they have to, let's say, wipe out the demographics, which uniquely identifies a patient.
Okay, so you cannot disclose the geographic location of a person to pinpoint the individual. That is the biggest breach. Like
that is the biggest. And also, preferably, you should not disclose the name.
Okay.
You can say there was a male, age 39 years.
That's it.
Having this kind of a background, his diet, then habits, and everything was like this. So this is a sample background. Tomorrow, if I got some ailment, if I change my name from Unmesh Deshpande to XYZ, that ailment is not going to change, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So these are not two connected systems. So name, which is our identifier, it cannot be disclosed.
So primarily the breach would be reaching out the person, the exact person. So if those details are like masked out or hashed out, right, then there's a very less chance, or maybe if somebody is trying to breach, the pool is so big that they won't be able to figure out who this person is. Right?
Correct.
Okay, great. And moving on, Unmesh ji, you always talk about strategy first, tech next.
Correct.
Right? So can you share an example where this mindset changed the project outcomes?
It's a very unique example. When I was at Kingsway, we wanted to buy some 250 or 260 million sets for patient rooms. And there was an offer from, 250, 60 numbers. This is a large number for any TV brand. So all the main companies like LG and Samsung, they started contacting me, showing their products and whatnot. But I said, the room occupancy is going to be not 24/7 across all the days in a year. So why do I buy a brand and put a lot of money over there? So we found a assembler who had a plant in Gujarat, and we ordered our own TVs at 1/4 of the price. Okay,
wow.
1/4 of the price. So I saved money for my organization. TV was branded, Kingsway branded. We had our own brand, so brand equity really scaled up. The operating system, I asked for a particular version of Android Smart that they embedded, and everything worked fine, right? Then our friend Mr. COVID came, and patients were locked into their rooms. They were disconnected from their families. They were nervous, and they did not have any hope of making it back home. Look at the trauma. You have come there to admit your father at a hospital who is COVID positive, and when he's taken inside on stretcher or walking, there is a small feeling that possibly I'm seeing my father for the last time.
Yes. Goosebumps.
Look at that emotional thing. How do you negate those emotions in patient, prompting them to have a lot of negative thoughts in their mind? Lose their what should I say? Lose their intent to cooperate for the treatment. And if that is not there, doctor is also a human being, not a magician.
Yeah.
So how can you scale up their morale? What has he lost when he entered the door of your hospital? What they have lost is a family connect. If you are in an absolute grave problem, and if your family is standing with you, you are unbeatable.
Absolutely.
The power of family. They will not be, the family may not be full of money in their pockets to support you. They may not be the strongest physically to lift you, but their moral support is the most strongest and most crucial in any perilous situation. So we started thinking, how do we connect? Can technology do something? So my IT team, Kingsway's IT team, we sat together and we wrote we used some borrowed code from here and there and did it as a video conferencing tool. which worked on Android. Immediately installed everything on all the TVs, connected a USB webcam, and told patient that this is your communication ID. You share it on a WhatsApp to all your family and friends. They can dial into your TV. They can see and talk to you. There is a camera, and you can talk. You can have 16, 18, 20 people. So मेरे बुआ की लड़की यूएस में रहती है, उससे भी बात करनी है. She is there. You name your family who is available on a connected media, and they were there on 40-inch HDD.
That's amazing. That's really something.
It's a very small step in technology. It's not high tech, and it's not a record breaking which will do us about. But what it resulted, Kingsway was the most sought after COVID hospital where people wanted to get admission, and half of their ailment and the worry was finished when they got related to Kingsway में bed मिला.
That's
so
superb.
Success rate, patient cooperation, patient morale, the so-called happiness in the ward or ICUs scaled up. When you have such positivity in the environment, results are always positive. And that was a very small 6-hour exercise by our IT.
That's superb. And that made a huge change in people's lives, right?
Perception.
Yeah.
That's it. What else technology? Touching heart, touching life. What can be a better example other than this?
Yeah, and what more it could achieve, actually.
Yeah. So any technologist or any IT architect or any solution designer who is designing some kind of technology, he should always look who is going to be my consumer and whether it resonates with life and heart. If it does, you have made $1 million. No question.
That's a beautiful insight and amazing story. Really heart touching. चलिए move on करते हैं. उन्मेश जी, many founders think like compliance is a checkbox. You have to just check it. What's your view in building security around the systems rather than just checking a box?
Right. Take an example. Husband and wife both are working, and they've got a 6-year-old child who comes from school at let's say 1:30 or 2 p.m. There is a maid servant in the house, and full day is taken care by her. But while parents leave, they lock their lockers, they lock the wardrobes, they lock their rooms, everything, and keep limited open for the child to move around. TV room शायद खुला रखेंगे entertainment के लिए. Is it safe? According to me, it's not. You have secured what is replaceable. All your asset, money, files, everything in the locker, right? You have not secured which is irreplaceable, which is your child. That maid servant can do anything to that child, right? Though there is CCTV camera, but CCTV camera can only record and intimate, not prevent, right?
Absolutely.
So cybersecurity is exactly like this. So you have to draw a triangle of CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. What information needs to be confidential? What information needs to be properly integrated with the system, and whom do you trust that information to? Whether the integrity of that person handling that information is correct, in line with the organization's aspirations and the DNA, then fine. If there is a serious or little concern about the integrity of person, don't share the information. Then availability. How should you make and why should you make information available to masses? Ask these questions. Then you deploy your security policies, security processes. The best thing that I always do, which I am very happy when I design a security posture for any organization or any resource of software or anything, deny by default. Just deny by default. What if the person asking to access is a CEO, managing director or owner of company? Deny him. No, you will not get access to the finance system. Hey boss, what are you talking? I own this company. So what? You own the company, you drive the company. Why do you want to look at the finance? The CFO will report to you.
So
You
data going through proper channel, and then having those gatekeepers of those channels is really important, right? Otherwise anybody will happen to access whatever they want, and especially the vulnerable people are the CEOs and COOs who are like, who keep traveling with their laptops and mobile devices and everything, and they have access to everything on their own personal devices, right?
Right.
So that would be really difficult.
Right. So I'll tell you an example. When I was at Kingsway and a whole lot of information was right there in the data center in front of my eyes every day. All the server storage and compute was there. There was a golden database which required a password. So we had two-factor authentication. I did not have SMS-based two-factor. What we did was we split the password into two. So password that was my password. It was the header of that, the final password. And the CFO, what was his password? It was his. I entered my character, he entered his characters, and then we saved the password. So bank में कैसे, if it is a joint account, it is either or survivor, any one of them signs the check and the check gets honored. And there is also one condition, you can make both people sign together. They're only good. So we did that. And data never got breached. So deny by default, allow by exception.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful insight. Like by default, everything is turned off.
Yeah.
And when somebody asks, then you ask basically why this is needed for, and only then that exception is made for that limited period of time where the information is being accessed. Kaam ho gaya, again denied.
And when you allow such exception, create an exception node. Maybe a row entry into Excel, even that works. So you have created exception. Every exception creates a risk window. And if that risk persists, as a compliance head, you need to have a mitigation plan to that risk.
Yeah.
So unless exception, risk window, and mitigation plan is placed and informed to the requester, you should not give the access. So it's a well-informed, well-thought strategic decision to give an access.
Nice. And Unmesh ji, hybrid cloud and AI ready infrastructure and security. Your thought on this?
See, hybrid cloud, these are very subjective, Piyush.
Yeah.
I speak from the hospital's perspective. Supposing you want to design an infra for a hospital, IT infra, which is multi-locational. It's got multiple hospitals across country, abroad or wherever. And there is a unified software system, which is HMIS, which is actually the ERP for hospital. It's called HMIS, right? And there are patients who are roaming. There are doctors who are traveling. If you need to give them an access, then you have a hybrid thing. So whatever needs to be accessed, put it on cloud. When you put that application, part of the application on cloud, ensure that it's only the data presentation window, not the data window. Whenever doctor seeks information, momentarily data will flow. You will see when the session closes, data will be synced back. So there won't be any transient data on open WAN links. So chances of you getting ransacked or ransomware or anything will reduce. Perimeter security has to be understood of how you do it. Imagine you're staying in an independent house. So there is a compound wall and there is a gate to come. Then in some people's case, there are two gates. One for a pedestrian or a two-wheeler, another for a four-wheeler. So smaller, larger gate. And they make appropriate use. And in night time, they lock the gates, put a chain or a lock or whatever. Then they lock the main entrance. And they keep from perimeter to nucleus. That is how we lock the house when you go to bed, right? Same thing has to be done for IT. On perimeter, you have got your firewalls. Then you have got your IDP and IDS. Then you have got your zero trust policy kind of mechanism. And then your switching, routing, and main database and crux of the application comes in. So you have to have a layered security so that in case one layer gets breached, you are not put at a 100% risk because there are several layers before. Layered approach is always better. There cannot be a best approach, but I think it's better way that you put it on a segmental thing. That if one segment breaks, you can really control rest of them and rebuild the segment. Damage control can be done very easily. So that is what hybrid. Hospitals who do not have branches, I'm of opinion they should go for on-premise. They should not adopt to cloud, other than for email service or internet browsing or emailing reports to the patient's ID or sending them over by WhatsApp or whatever. So those hospitals can stay 100% on-premise without adopting cloud for their business softwares.
Day-to-day business, right?
Yeah. Now, there are some clinics, chain of clinics, and you've got, let's say, 500 Apollo clinics, for example. There are so many Apollo clinics, numerous, in every city, village, tier 2, 1, 2, 3 city across country. Now, these people, for Apollo clinics, what is the application? It has to be 100% cloud. Because they cannot put server storage compute at every clinic location.
Yeah.
Because then maintenance will involve. The clinician who is sitting at Apollo clinic or any other clinic, chain of clinic, will have his own laptop. That's it. And some broadband connection or a Wi-Fi dongle. He's connected to the system.
Nice. And Unmesh, your any advice to SME or startups handling sensitive customer data? What precaution they should take?
See, handling sensitive data is a later on stage. When there is a startup and they have a lot of information, they do not understand that this is a sensitive information, right? Because their focus is on establishing their business and making it big.
Yeah.
At the cost of not securing that information, not classifying which is sensitive, which can go into public, which is internal, confidential. So classification of information is required. Once the information is properly classified and accordingly, then you can decide what to secure, what not to secure. Is it generic information like pin code list of India? Generic. Right? Geographical information of country? Generic. Available on open platform. If you are holding that information and that information gets breached, then nothing to worry. You have not lost anything, you have not created any breach of trust or whatever. But then person or business specific revenue information gets damaged, that's a classified information, so it needs a priority. So you need to prioritize your approach, how you look at your own information within your organization. Based upon priority, you can put locks and measures. Normally, your gold and silver ornaments, you buy a locker space in one of the banks, put it there, lock it, and then come home, right? And then you got peace of mind. So for a sensitive asset, you have found an appropriate security. So if you have categorized information, the appropriate security measures can be taken.
The most important thing is classification. अगर classification सही है, so next step अपने आप ही समझ में आएगा कि now this is a sensitive information. Now I need to find out what to do with this. Right?
Correct. If you do not classify information, or if you are not able to classify information, it's better to sit home, do homework, study, and then understand information.
Yeah.
Right? And then going for your startup business, which could be let's say there's so many fancy names, MBA, Chaiwala, and all those stuff. Right? So whatever is the startup, information is important. Even a small food truck, it has got a lot of information. When it is keying the bill and giving, it got name of a person. If it is a Zomato out place, then they have got address, location, everything. And you know that Unmesh orders from Zomato so many times in a month. His taste of food is like this. He likes to have this. On Saturday he orders this. All pattern analysis. and he spent so much of amount on ordering from Zomato, right? This is a simple like I pick up my phone, order something from somewhere, and eat, enjoy, and sleep off. No, but it is creating that impression and that pattern of a person called Unmesh Deshpande.
Yeah.
If that pattern and that data is not properly secured by Zomato and the vendor, people can form a strategies against me, how to tackle me in a difficult situation.
Hmm.
फिर वो कहती है, आपको यहाँ के कबाब अच्छे लगते हैं ना, ये लाया मैं आपके लिए। अपन वो अपने डील के बारे में बात कर ले, तो 50% attention is on that kebab which you like,
Kebab. Yeah.
defocusing you.
Wow.
Just imagine, I just give a regular. You must be using Zomato, Swiggy, or some food delivery services quite often, right? What are you sharing? Your taste, your pattern,
Your contact number and your address.
contact number, address, how much you spend.
Yeah. Pretty much everything I've shared with them. Yeah. Wow. This is an eye opener. And Unmesh, according to you, what are the top 2-3 mistakes that you see that young IT leaders are making today?
In terms of their
In terms
own
of like running their own organization and stuff, right?
over heroism. That okay, I am from one of the top premier tech institute graduate,
Yeah.
and I have done 3 to 4 extra certifications which are globally recognized. All these top institute, global, and all these things, it's absolutely necessary if you can do it. But then don't carry its aura to your work. Don't carry that ego of being a big institute pass out and highly qualified, certified to your workplace. It will kill every technical ability that you have, because you'll start assuming a lot of things at the workplace, because you are used to be you may be used for that because you would have been taught in your 4 or 5 years of graduation.
But this is a different environment, right?
This is different environment, boss. So once you start defocusing like that, you start losing out on basics. And it is, I don't have to reiterate the fact that if the foundation of the building is not strong enough, the tower doesn't remain stable for years.
Yeah.
And that tower is nothing but your fame and career growth and respect you get in the market. You have to be on a strong foundation. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And that is where, I do take interviews for senior positions in IT and talk to people who have got about 8 years, 10 years, 15 years experience or expertise. But that does not come out very well when you have actually one-on-one with them in the interview room. Basically, whenever I take interviews, I do create an environment of an interview as such in the room. I would always like it to be a friendly chat, right? But still, whatever is written on the CV, whatever accomplishment, they do not properly resonate, and that is a gap I see. So, whenever you are doing anything, it is a good ability. Your first day at work in your life, after you come home, just write few lines what you did, or write what worked well, what did not. You write it for 1 year, and in one of the Christmas break or Diwali vacation, you go through that diary. You will find the pattern what did not work for you, which is far more important than what did work for you.
Yeah.
So you know where you messed up, where you won. So try to improvise on the task or deeds where you messed up.
यानी ओवरऑल क्या करना है वो तो इम्पोर्टेंट है, पर क्या नहीं करना है उसको भी जानना बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है.
Exactly.
Wow. And Unmesh ji, what do you think? Where does India stand globally in the health tech innovation?
Actually, we are the best. We are the best. You see, I've been to US. I've seen, heard and seen some of the hospitals. A lot of my friends and family stay there. If you have to do a CT or MRI scan, how much time does it take in our city? 15 minutes to the machine or 20
Yeah,
minutes?
you could say 30 minutes maybe max. Yeah.
15 minutes. Worst case scenario, within an hour, you are under that machine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In US, to get an MRI city appointment, it is 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Oh.
Unless it's a 911 emergency and you are hit by a car and want to. 3 weeks.
3 weeks. We are way ahead of.
So if you are ailment, if you have any specific ailment, okay, there is a patient who has a lot of headache and they say 9:30 a.m. in the morning every day. So there is something which is changing at that point of time in that patient head or brain or wherever. That is the exact time when the scanning and everything has to be done, because the change will be recorded.
Yeah.
If you have to wait 3 weeks for it, I mean, it's beyond imagination.
It's beyond imagination. Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
talking about US's turnaround because they have a lot of people over there and discuss it out. They know that I'm in a health tech environment and do some things over here. So from that perspective, I would rate our country as our nation as the topmost in health tech. There are companies in my native place, Nagpur, who have done entire technology design for hospitals abroad. And not only one or two, some 20, 100 kind of a setup.
Wow.
And people
That's
from
amazing.
abroad, how did they come to India and then to Nagpur? Because whatever the internet references and good success stories were there. How did it happen? I mean, this company did not have a marketing budget to go and camp in Nairobi or Middle East and Africa and set up an office over there, spend money, give parties, and tell the chairmen of various hospitals that what product they have. They came to. The customer came. So the service provider or solution provider did not make the first move.
That's beautiful. And Unmeshji, you've also authored books, and one of them is Innovation Unleashed. So tell us about your book.
That book happened by an accident. While we built Kingsway IT, I joined Kingsway when there were only concrete RCC frame, and I was appointed as their chief technology officer, and my job was to design a world-class IT infra. So when I designed all the cabling and everything, I used to write on my laptop. What did I do during the day? What did I learn? All these Word files. So when I quit Kingsway to be a freelance consultant, I saw those files, and I thought that I will polish the English and put hashtags and keep posting on LinkedIn as my post. Well, let me figure out what all the files are. So I went to each and every, and they had a common tone. So I said, okay, let's have one article with multiple chapters. So the Word file has one chapter. I said, then how many chapters? I had about 200 kind of different Word files. Who will be interested in reading an article with 200 chapters?
Yeah.
No one.
No.
I said, no, this is not going to work. Might as well change them to something different. And that was the thing which gave birth to my first book, which is Innovation Unleashed, the journey of a health tech CTO. It's available on Amazon on my website and also on my website. So that is how my first book got published. So publishing book, no idea how it is done. So looking at other books, there is a number called ISBN number. I registered myself as an independent author and a publisher on ISBN portal, Rajaram Mohan Roy portal. Got my first ISBN number, did all the legal formalities, then looked for a printer who could print that, printed it, and signed up with Amazon for sales, put it on my website also. Then there were so many people who encouraged me by buying the books, and that was the beginning. Then I
So
decided that
I would
yeah,
I would ask our listeners to do check out Unmesh ji's books. I'll put the link in the description, Amazon link in the description. So check out if you would like to know more about innovations in health tech, right? And his experience of setting up a hospital.
and the thing is,
IT.
whatever is, I think that book is for 499 rupees or something like that. Whatever is the direct cost that I incurred in getting that book printed, that is the only money that I keep. All the profits I am contributing to funding education of children who are really good. Because see, working for money is not required now. When it was a need, primary objective, we did, right? It's time to give it back. So we have Alumni Association School, which is wonderful. Which is a registered company with ROC, and it's been there, and we do so many things. So I might as well contribute there. The second book is also there. So this is 100% of the money without keeping the production cost. I'll give it to school, and I've been doing that.
That's a very amazing insight, Unmesh ji. It's been a wonderful conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Piyush. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
So this was Unmesh ji's story, and if you like the story, please do hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next week with another interesting story.